Hello and welcome to Reboot Theater. I'm your host, the Invisible Man. Well, it's October, and you know what that means. Halloween! And it's the time of year for spooky, scary movies. The time of year to be frightened out of your wits. The time of year for the most terrifying things you can imagine. Like this.
Think it'll scare the kids?
Kids? Listen to the parents' nightmares.
Today we're looking at Detective Pikachu. If you live on planet Earth, you've probably heard of Pokémon. A game where you beat up wild animals, cram them into a prison cell, wait for them to develop Stockholm Syndrome, and then enter them in dogfights. Rated E for everyone! And from the massive success of this brand, it was only a matter of time before there was a spin-off game called Detective Pikachu. A boy named Tim Goodman befriends a Pikachu, who for some reason only he can understand, and they go around solving mysteries together. Yeah, that's it. That's the whole game. If you're a fan of detective games, you may like this. But if you're a fan of other Pokemon games, you may find this a bit... tedious. Like evolving a Magikarp to Gyarados, tedious. Still, the game was successful enough to warrant a live-action movie, so that happened. And they even got Ryan Reynolds to voice Pikachu. Okay, this should be funny. Maybe this won't be all bad. Let's take a look at Detective Pikachu. The movie begins with our protagonist, Tim Goodman, trying to catch his first Pokemon.
Hey, Cubone. What's up, buddy? Not everyone can pull off wearing the skull of their dead relative, but you sure can.
Oh, the cringe is strong with this one. Tim tries to catch Cubone, but fails.
The light's not green. Jack, that's bad, right? Run!
And then gets thrown an unrealistic distance from a simple bone. Really? You expect me to believe he went airborne after a bone hit his legs? No, nope, not gonna happen. Then Tim gets a call from Ryme City telling him that his father, Harry, was just killed by Mewtwo in a car crash. Yeah, I'm not saying that's a good thing, but hey, killed by a legendary? What a way to go! So Tim travels there to learn the details of his father's death, and he watches some exposition on the train.
Throughout history, Pokémon have been part of our world. One man changed all of this. Howard Clifford.
He's a villain. Yes, your literal first guess is correct. An old rich guy who shakes up the status quo? Who else could it possibly be?
Here we live and work together. No battles, no trainers, no Pokeballs.
Wow. But what is that, like 9 minutes in? Just about? You just made me lose all interest before that 10-minute mark. That is not a good sign. Still, the design of Ryme City is pretty cool. It is interesting to see Pokemon and humans cohabiting the same space, even though I'm still not sure how you got wild animals to behave without catching and training them.
They don't have a trainer, so they just run wild and play tricks on the whole town.
And by the way, love the Squirtle Squad reference. I'm pulling for that! But honestly, no Pokeballs? No trainers? No battles? If there's one thing I want to see in a Pokemon movie, it's a Pokemon battle! Come on! This is amateur hour, guys! That's the entire point of the game! And there's also another problem I have with this movie. Ah! What the hell is that? Oh my god. Oh my god. That's the design they went with. Oh dear. Arceus, that is bad. Here's the thing. In this movie, some Pokemon have bare skin, which looks fine. Some Pokemon have fur, which is mildly unsettling, but I can live with it. And some Pokemon are Psyduck.
Are you trying to rob me or just annoy me?
He's with me. I've been waiting to see who would open up that mailbox.
Wait a second. Frizzy hair, slender body, Psyduck hits her Pokemon. It's Misty!
Lucy Stevens, reporter for CNN.
Or not! Kinda missed a golden opportunity there. Tim enters his father's apartment and discovers an intruder.
I know how to use this.
If it's a new Pokemon made out of junk mail, its fate is sealed! And at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if it was. But of course, it's not junk mail, it's the star of the movie, Detective Pikachu.
Put down the stapler, or I will electrocute you.
Well, at least he looks better than Psyduck.
Did you just talk?
Whoa. Did you just understand me?
Tim discovers that he's the only human who can understand Pikachu, and Pikachu was previously his father's Poke partner on the Force. So the two team up to figure out what happened to Tim's father.
Stop talking! You're a hallucination!
You're a hallucination.
I will say this, Ryan Reynolds is hilarious in this movie. But come on, that was kind of a given.
Excuse me, APOM. We're having a private conversation here, please. I tread lightly there, Chief. That APOM don't look right.
So a whole swarm of rabid Apom appear and try to rip Tim to shreds in a downright nightmarish scenario.
Oh my God, help!
Rated PG. Bring your kids. Ratings are a joke. Then they manage to escape the Apom using a trash chute. To learn more, Pikachu suggests they investigate the art chemical Tim found, which turned the monkeys rabid. So they go see his new friend, Not Misty, who may have some info. She directs them to the docks, where they meet Harry's informant, a Mr. Mime.
They're the worst. Silent but annoying. Why was Harry Goodman here, and what did it have to do with the R?
He's saying you can shove it.
What? I can shove it?
No, we're not cops!
Oh God, that's a very hard wall.
So to get the info they need, they play the Mimes game and threaten to burn him with gasoline! Okay, no, this is not a kid's movie.
Roundhouse. The source of the R came from the roundhouse.
Yeah, nice work, kid. Maybe there's a little detective in you after all.
Did you just burn him alive? You did! You totally just burned that poor creature to death! Still rated PG, Molotovs and all! Then they go to an underground fight club where we see the only battles in the entire movie.
Critical hit! Additional damage!
Yeah, sorry guys, but no. You cannot make a serious, gritty movie with Pokemon in it. That just doesn't work.
Well, that Pikachu Thunderbolt almost wrecked my prized Charizard last time he was here.
So the owner demands a rematch between Pikachu and Charizard, the battle pretty much all of us wanted to see growing up, but it's not a fair fight because Charizard snorts R first.
Look out! Whoa, 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 whoa!
Now this is the fight to end all fights! Strength versus speed! Fire versus lightning! Pikachu! Use Thunderbolts!
You got it!
After you do your business. Should we give him some privacy or...
I forgot how to use my powers. But he didn't.
Then the battle gets out of hand, more of the R gets loose, and every Pokemon starts tearing the place apart. But just when it looks like they're screwed, they become even more screwed.
Hey, Tim, I don't float.
Then they get escorted by a bad guy agent in a bad guy car to a bad guy skyscraper where they meet a man at a desk shrouded in shadow who drives around in a bad guy chair. Wow, how very subtle! Honestly, could you make it even more obvious who the villain is? I don't think we know yet. I think we need a handlebar mustache and a fuzzy animal for him to pet.
Magnificent creatures, aren't they?
Wow. There it is, right there.
Harry's dead.
Oh no, Tim. Your father is alive.
But you won't be.
Look out, kid!
Clifford uses holographic technology to show what really happened after the crash. Harry managed to escape the burning car, then Mewtwo took him away and wiped Pikachu's memories.
If that thing came from you, then we're looking at the most powerful Pokemon in the world.
Where did it take him?
That's for you to solve now.
So the duo continue investigating and call Not Misty to get them into the secret lab. They discovered that the lab captured Mewtwo and made Serum R from him. And amazingly, the R has nothing to do with Team Rocket. Seriously! You just keep wasting every opportunity! But the lab owners see them break in, and they let loose some Greninja to deal with the intruders.
This is no time for your stupid headache! Wait! This is the perfect time! Get a splitting headache now, you neurotic duck! Do it! Good job, Psyduck. Where's my hat?
So they manage to escape the Greninja, but they run into a new problem.
Run! At this point, how can you not believe in climate change?
They discover the forest is actually a Torterra garden for enormous Pokémon, and then Pikachu gets hit with a small rock.
Pikachu!
Oh, calm down, kid. It's just a pebble. Okay, I know I've made some fake-out death jokes already, but seriously, there is no effing way they survived a fall from that height with boulders falling down on top of them. Of course, they come out without a scratch. How? How?
He's hurt.
Of course he's hurt! He just fell off a mountain, drowned in a river, and got crushed by boulders! He should be grateful his head's still attached! But really, they're trying to imply that that one rock he got hit with earlier somehow proved fatal. Dude, he's a Pokémon! They have rocks thrown at them all the time!
Hey, help! Please!
Oh, now it all makes sense. A Bulbasaur fanboy made this movie. That's why Pikachu looks so disturbing, but Bulbasaur's just the cutest little thing on the face of the earth.
Why are you still thinking about Bulbasaur?
He's the cutest one of all. I need to get Pikachu to a healer Pokemon.
So Bulbasaur gathers a whole army of cuteness and escorts Tim to Mewtwo. Mewtwo heals him, and it's revealed that Pikachu caused a power outage to free Mewtwo from the lab. But before Mewtwo can explain more, the lab owner shows up and recaptures him.
I betrayed your father, which means I could betray you too.
Pikachu goes off on his own, thinking it's for the best. But then he has a revelation.
Greninja stars. Roger must have sent the Greninjas to cause the crash. Mewtwo was trying to protect us?
And then, of course, we find out who the true villain is. Old Man Clifford! Like, zoink, Scoob! Who could have guessed? Everyone.
My mind is in Mewtwo. Well done, Tim. You and Harry's Pikachu led me straight to Mewtwo.
You know, for two detectives, you sure do suck at detecting. Turns out Clifford's plan was to use R to make all the Pokemon go mad and then transfer human souls into their bodies because... You know, I'm not really sure why. It's one thing for him to want to take over Mewtwo's body, because then he'd be able to walk again. And he'd have incredible psychic power besides. But why does he assume every human wants to become a Magikarp?
Pokemon can evolve into better versions of themselves. And now, so can you.
Yeah, no thanks. I actually like being tall enough to drive. But of course, no one gets a choice as he uses Mewtwo's power to fuse all the trainers into their Pokemon.
Okay. Worst parade I've ever seen.
Then Tim discovers it wasn't Roger that captured Mewtwo.
Behind you! You're a Ditto.
Okay, now you see? That's a good plot twist. You made it seem like Clifford's son was the bad guy, but it was actually someone impersonating him. And they foreshadowed this earlier when the Ditto picked them up in the chauffeur disguise. Remember the pink gloves? That's how you drop a hint without giving away everything. Unlike Old Man Clifford, who I could immediately tell was the villain the moment he came on screen.
A Pikachu cannot defeat Mewtwo in battle.
I didn't need to defeat you. I just needed to distract you.
So Clifford gets arrested, all the humans and Pokemon return to their old selves, and Not Misty gets a promotion for finding the lead on such a huge story.
You're going on camera. I want you giving an in-depth report for CNN Tonight, prime time.
Then Tim finally finds out what happened to his father.
The father you have been looking for has been with you all along.
To save Harry's life, Mewtwo put his soul into Pikachu's body, and with the return of his son, he can help Harry live again. We're never given an explanation why he needed Harry's son to heal Harry, or why Harry had amnesia while he was in Pikachu, or even why Tim could understand Harry when no one else could. But at this point, who cares anymore? Harry finally gets back in his own body, and for the first time we see the actual Ryan Reynolds. Tim plans to go back home, but after bonding with his father, he decides to stay in Ryme City.
You think I can stay with you for a while?
I'd like that, kid. Yeah, I'd like that very much.
Maybe I could give detective work a try?
I think he likes that idea.
And that was Detective Pikachu. Well, so that happened. The story is convoluted, the lack of battles is insulting, I don't know what they were going for with these character designs, and it doesn't take a detective to know exactly who the villain is from the start. If you really wanted a good plot twist, here's what you should have done. Make it seem like Howard Clifford really is the villain. And then when Mewtwo gets captured, show him appear, confirming our suspicions. But then, in big climax, you reveal that Clifford was actually a Ditto this whole time, and the real Clifford was tied up. Then you make Clifford's son Roger the true villain. Roger fuses with Mewtwo and explains his true plans. His father always wanted humans and Pokémon to coexist in harmony, but by treating both as full citizens, Ryme City's resources were being stretched too thin. There weren't enough jobs to go around, because half the jobs in the city were going to Pokémon. This was causing human employment to suffer, and the homeless population began to rise, as many people couldn't find work and couldn't pay rent anymore. So, in order to solve the problem, Roger would fuse humans into the bodies of Pokémon, thereby cutting the city's population in half, freeing up jobs for non-trainers and pulling the homeless citizens out of the gutter. And by having Pokémon abilities combined with human intelligence, the now Pokémonized humans would be able to do all the work they and their partners did at half the cost. And as a bonus, Roger would fuse himself with Mewtwo permanently because psychic powers sound awesome. Then Tim would still stop him, Mewtwo would set everything right, and Roger would go to jail. Now that would have been a better story. But as it stands, I just didn't care for this movie. It just didn't have enough of what I was looking for. I mean, rushed CGI? Ugly versions of my favorite characters? No battles! After 23 years, you finally made a live-action Pokemon movie. And you didn't even have a proper stadium battle? What the hell? That's like Pokemon 101! Even a child could tell you that should have been in the movie. If not for Ryan Reynolds, this movie would have sucked. Fortunately, he's the one good thing about this mess. Despite everything else, our good buddy Deadpool knows just how to give the right amount of sarcasm. I just hope they leave it here. Because if they make a sequel and Reynolds doesn't play Pikachu, it's going to blow chunks. That should fill your dreams to the brim with fright. I'm the Invisible Man, and when there's a creepy adaptation, I got it covered.